The fault, dear Brutus.
Liftoff. The clock has started.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
This is the Randi Rhoads Show. Turn up your mind.
You don't need no gun control. You know what you need? We need some bullet control. We need to control the bullets. That's right. I think all bullets should cost $5,000. $5,000 for a bullet. You know why? Because if a bullet costs $5,000, there'll be no more innocent bystanders. Every time somebody gets shot, you be like, damn, he must have did something. They put $50,000 worth of bullets in his ass. And people will think before they kill somebody if a bullet costs $5,000. Man, I would blow your head off if I could afford it. I'm going to give me another job. I'm going to start saving some money. And you a dead man. You better hope I can't get no bullets on layaway.
That could be the solution right freaking there. Right there. Chris Rock is a genius. That is another way to approach this, I think. You know, guns for everybody, but $5,000 a bullet. I think that we ought to do websites and organize $5,000 a bullet. We ought to have groups and women's groups and parents groups and groups of children, $5,000 a bullet. And then tax the hell out of the guns, too. And I don't know what Obama had in mind when he was speaking to us today, but he definitely has something in mind. I hope that this is backed up with some sort of proposal or action, and I hope that it comes, you know, right after the end of the fiscal cliffiness that doesn't really exist, and the debt ceiling, which does exist and is a terrible problem that's facing the president and the president alone, because Congress are just a bunch of freaky, paid-off, purchased people, and they're so unresponsive, they're so inept, they're so incapable of dealing with any of the issues that are plaguing us. And, of course, you know, look, this is a multi-pronged issue. Just like when the other day when we were looking at the Belcher, you know, the Kansas City Jovan Belcher who killed himself and his girlfriend, you know, I was not quick to start with the gun control talk because I know what we're up against. I totally get it. I'm not a surrealist. I'm not a fantastical person. I'm not a talking points person. I'm a critical thinking person. I can think my way out of a paper bag, and that's why you enjoy the show, whether you agree with me or not, and you know it's the truth. But on this one, this is so multi-pronged. There are so many elements that have caused the kind of anger that exists in the United States, that have caused propaganda machines to be at full tilt, that have paid for those propaganda machines, that are going out of their way to drive down the wages of every single person in this country who works for a living, that are trying to put small businesses out of business, that have a tax code that favor the ultra-elite, an education system where parents feel the need to pull their kids out of school and homeschool them. Something is so wrong in our society, something so wrong in our culture, and trust me, it has nothing to do with music or the rock and roll or the dancing or the videos or the movies. It has everything to do with our media. It has everything to do with the hatred that passes for information or the hatred that's overlooked every day on the airwaves that, oh, well, it's free speech. You know, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Let's consider the United States a very crowded theater. What about that? We have parents that barely are home because they're working their butts off 2, 3 jobs. You have women that are raising their kids, but they're doing it completely by themselves because men are out there working 2 and 3 jobs because they have dignity and pride. And women are single doing it, and they always have been. And they're working too, and they always have been. Hence the shirt tail factory fire. Hence the Nights of Labor that was started by women's groups who were working in hosiery mills and paper mills. World War II women were working. Let's not pretend that this is like something to do with the feminazi. Even that language, even that conversation is a setup to get men pitted against women. Seriously, we are being torn asunder. We are being torn limb from limb on every imaginable playing field in which we toil every day. Whether it's in the workplace and we can't ask for a raise because we're so grateful to have the pittance of a job that we have. Or we can't be home with our kids. Or our kids don't even know us anymore and talk to us like we're freaking strangers, and they're angry all the time about it. And then on top of it, when you get really stinking angry and you get really crazy and really misinformed and really estranged from your family and your friends, get a gun. It's a ridiculous thing that we're going through here, and we need somebody to address the underlying issues, the issues that we addressed back in the robber baron days. Fair wages, decent hours, the ability for one job to be enough of a job, to raise an entire family, pensions when you retire that you contribute to, honoring work, honoring the dignity of family, not lip service. This is crap. This is real garbage, I have to tell you. People take wage cuts, increases in hours. You see profits going up and you see productivity going up. But you don't see the wages match the productivity or the profits. And something's wrong. And people are so frustrated and they are listening to any fool that steps up to the microphone. Seriously. Here's a little rule of thumb. If your talk show host has called the president a Marxist, Maoist, fascist, socialist, whatever, in the past 6 months, turn that freak off. If your talk show host never has a solution and is always reading from their own book, if your talk show host talks about tyranny and liberty or freedom ad nauseum and tells you have to send $25 to the Heritage Foundation at Freedom Works, which are some of the most well-funded, freaky, right-wing places that were developed by people like Paul Weyrich, who was the first person to infuse fundamentalist Christianity into Republican politics and made a freaking fortune, turn it off. They are not helping you. They are hurting you. Seriously, they are getting you to vote against what would help your family.